I do have the privilege, really, of sharing so many great things that are happening at Allen Creek School, a place that I'm so proud of, and that I can talk to you tonight really about kids and about learning. And that's how lucky I am, because I am immersed in that every single day. So I'm just really happy to be here and share that with you. So tonight, I want to talk about a few areas. Certainly our school goals, our professional learning community, and our social emotional inclusivity team. And I hope that what you will see tonight is how all of these things work together to create a culture of learning. They're not separate. They all kind of work together to create such a great culture that we're so proud of. One of the first things that I want to share with you is that my teachers, our teams who have been involved in professional learning communities for the last 3 years, I asked them if they would kind of reflect on a video about their experience, and they were really happy to do that, and we ended up having a great 30-minute video. It's not 30 minutes tonight, it's only a couple minutes. I edited it down for you to kind of see what is actually happening at Allen Creek School as it relates to professional learning communities. And what you're going to hear are three areas. You're going to hear the teachers talk a little bit about just what is it and what does it look like. And then most importantly, I hope you will hear how does it impact student learning, specifically at Allen Creek with as it relates to our goal of writing, but also for the whole child, how in learning all day long and throughout our school. And thirdly, I hope that you'll hear how it impacts individual, teacher, professional growth, because that is a goal of PLC. So it's a short video, and I'm excited to share this with you. And they did a great job, the teachers. They were a little nervous, but it came out really, really well. And it really is an example of what they do every day, because I sit with them at times and I hear these conversations. So it's not all scripted,
This is our third year of implementing WinTime, What I Need. Currently, we are focusing on persuasive writing. Before we begin each session, we have the students given a pre-assessment. Then as a group, we look at that pre-assessment and we collaborate together and decide how we want to further the skills of those individual students and what groupings will best meet those needs.
So it was really important for us to come together as a team and work together and to see all of the third graders as our students. And I think after doing this, that has been one of the most important things, is that I see your students and you see my students as your students. And I know your students and I know their writing. I think that one of the most important things is that we have seen those important and essential elements in their writing appear in their writing, not only in their WinTime group, but also in your writing workshop time within your own classroom. So they're taking new skills and bringing them and transferring them back into the classroom.
Something that I've really liked about the way we've set up our PLC model in 5th grade is the flexibility, and that it's fluid, and that we use that the assessment and the data to really drive what our instruction is and what the student need is at that time. And like you've talked about, Stephanie, it's really that mindset, not only from us, but also for the students, that they know this is what they need at this point in time.
I agree. I've seen a lot of growth from students owning their own learning from the WinTime and the model, even just using, instead of what I need time, what I need now. Even from just the beginning of this year, they're self-advocate more. They'll come and say, I had a hard time today in Mrs. Cushman's math, or I need more time in Mr. Moscato's social studies to work with a peer. And if we don't have, if we have that fluidity across the week, they can ask for what they need, and that's been really important, especially as they look toward their future in middle school.
I think it really has built itself to a way that we are really tapping into the best instructional practices for the kids.
And with that, though, it's that opportunity for the three of us to be able to really collaborate about those best practice ideas. And it's not just one way of doing
Right.
the instruction, that we can share different strategies, what worked well, what didn't work well.
Working in our vertical alignment PLC 3 through 5, specifically on writing the last couple years, has shown such great improvement in the students' writing. We were able to find gaps in our instruction and set expectations as a grade level.
When we get together 3 through 5, because then I think we really get to kind of look at what are our essential learnings and understandings, and kind of really think about what is it that we need the kids to know. For me, that's been huge in my own professional growth, because writing is so big, and to really look at that as a PLC. And then once we determine those essential learnings, we're moving forward with, okay, let's create a common language. Let's create and decide what resources are we going to use as a team that best fit our kids' needs, that are going to get them there. So then it's really nice that 3 through 5 is using that same language, those same rubrics, those expectations. We've created resources together and modified things to make them really fit the needs of our students here at Allen Creek. What do you think?
I think PLC is for me.
So there you have it. It's certainly really so proud of my teachers and all the work they're doing, and you could hear what it looks like for kids. And I guess just in a sentence, what I could say for me, what PLC has done in the last 3 years, and that's put kids in learning first. As simple as that. So I'm so just really proud of that. But some of the work that we are doing, again, that we get to see every day, certainly around our building and in the classrooms. For example, our second and third graders are currently working on opinion pieces and persuasive pieces, and they're picking favorite books that they really love, and they're reading them, and then they're giving their opinion and persuading others to read those, and giving it to an audience that hopefully will pick up that book for the reasons they gave and read it and enjoy it. First graders have just currently finished a how-to piece. I thought I knew how to wash a window or to make a waffle, but when I read their pieces, I learned a lot more, and we really refined 2 of those skills. So I can now make a mean waffle and really wash a window and just shine like no other. There you go. Our fourth graders in social studies, they had the opportunity this year to go to the Rochester Science and Museum Center to learn about the Haudenosaunee culture, the people of the Longhouse, and had a great day there at the museum, and also learned about it in their classrooms. And through all of that, they then worked with our librarian to choose a specific topic from that culture, and they created pop-up books. And did some research and did some pop-up books that we displayed in the library, and others were able to come and really kind of learn about this culture. So they did a great job with that. Our fifth grade currently, and they just actually finished this today. Today was kind of their presentation day. They worked with the town and with our supervisor, Bill Smith, and he came over to the fifth grade and did a presentation and talked a little bit about Pittsford and the history, but then he shared with them some areas of some topics of concerns and things that they're working on, that they care about in Pittsford. And he charged the fifth grade to create public service announcements on a topic. And that's actually what they did. So today was the presentation, and they were able to show all of those public service announcements, and they did an incredible job. And I have an example of 2. They're only 30 seconds each, but again, another example of just great work. So these are 2 public service announcements. Some of the topics that they were charged with were littering, clean energy, historic preservation, I know, traffic safety. So these two, one is clean energy and one is littering, and they did a really great job.
Solar panels can help us humans to conserve natural resources like timber, coal, natural gas, and other non-renewable energy sources.
The state of New York has officially awarded the town of Pittsford a clean energy community by reducing energy use and carbon emissions. You can help by building solar panels on your property to help the world become a cleaner place.
Basketball was really fun. Yeah, but you crushed me. That was a good game anyway. Okay, Ellen, where are you going? Hey, fishing. The pond's that way. Yeah, but there's too much litter. Well, maybe you can help him pick up the litter. Yeah, that's a good idea. Come on. Come on.
The United States generates about 250 million tons of trash each year.
That's 9 tons of litter in the ocean alone.
Wow, that's a lot of litter.
We all hope you'll make a stand and stop littering.
Yeah, that was good. They were good. So these are really examples of a few things. They're certainly an example of project-based learning. They're an example of kind of an authentic real-world experience, connection. Also, a partnership with our community, which has really been great. And really, finally, I think one of the things, especially for this PSA, is it goes really aligned directly with our district mission, which is being your best self, doing your best work, but also making a difference in the lives of others. And that's exactly what they're doing here. And I know that Bill Smith was really pleased today to take a look at, he charged these kids with a project, and they worked really hard, and it showed. So really proud of all of our kids and all the work that they've been doing. The one big and new initiative, I guess I would say, that we put in place this year is called the We Aced It initiative. The first thing that we kind of did this year was we have been operational in terms of our social emotional learning program or team or school or culture, but we kind of thought about how can we keep it fresh and make sure that we're focusing on the really important things in our culture to keep moving forward. And to go along with our touchstone, which is being your best self and doing your best work. And what does that mean, and what does it look like? So we came together, and in order to promote diversity and inclusion, we chose inclusivity, which I know that as a district we talked about that, and we've seen that word now and understand what it means. So we first changed the name of our team. And it's a See It team. So now it's Social Emotional Inclusivity Team. Just so we're intentional about thinking about being diverse and inclusive throughout our school culture. So the first thing that we did, well, we do meet on a regular basis, and what we do is we create initiatives and we monitor initiatives. So this year, the first thing that we talked about was we decided that we wanted to, in order to promote that, we wanted to think about or come up with qualities that we thought would really promote that. So the first thing we did was we took our acronym, ACES, and we started with that, and then we kind of thought through the school, every classroom and every student brainstormed qualities that they thought would fit nicely with our AC, E, and S. And our team, gathered all of those, we looked through those, and we came up with, as a team, with the four that we thought best presented or promoted diversity, inclusion, and great character. And that's what we came up with: accepting, cooperative, empathetic, and supportive. The next thing that we did was I worked with the focus group from our kids, and we came together a few times to take a look at these qualities. The purpose of that was to gather information to end up with kid-friendly definitions. And so they had a voice. And so I worked with them, and when I worked with them in groups, what we did was we kind of just talked about, and they talked about, first of all, what do these qualities mean to us? And we even started with definitions, right? We even started looking into the dictionary. What does it mean? But then we said, well, what does this look like in our life? What do they mean to us? And what are examples maybe of some of these qualities that we've been involved in? And thirdly, why are they important? So we have these qualities. We're learning about these qualities. We know what they look like, but why are they important in our school? Why are they important in our community? And why are they important in the world? Right? What is it for? So the kids worked great together to kind of talk about what it might have felt like or looked like if they were ever cooperative, or if they felt like they were supported or weren't supported, and what that might look like. So we gathered all of that information from those focus groups, and next our See It team came up with and developed kind of kid-friendly definitions for each, and that's what you see here on the wall. We then moved next to having a kickoff assembly that we did on Valentine's Day. And I had the focus group certainly help us out by sharing what those definitions were, giving examples to the audience about what they might look like, in our daily in our school or in our community, what it might look like, and it was a great experience. And one of the things that we decided, and what they knew what was going to happen, was that we were going to continue to learn about and understand these qualities and what they mean and what they look like. And then we were going to look for evidence of it. And once our kids, and once somebody, a kid or adult, shows or models or there's an example of one of these qualities, they get an ACES card. And the kids, of course, love anything that you give them, right? ACES cards. Yeah. And our first thought was that we were going to then collect these cards back and somehow display them so we could see as a school how many of these qualities are we seeing in our school, in our culture. But we also knew that they would not want to give these up, right? So they want them, they love them, they take them with them, and they're excited and they're proud of them, and that's great, right? So what we decided was to have them collect these, and in their classrooms they collect by classroom, collect how many of these that they got, and then they come down, and the first slide that you saw with our big ACES sign, it's white and it's on our wall, and what will happen is every kid will stamp it with a heart. With every card they get, they'll stamp a heart, and we hope that it'll just be a visual to kind of show how many of these qualities are we displaying at Allen Creek School. So they're very excited about that. We've just started that, and we also want to, as we move forward, we want to learn more about them and have a deeper understanding of what they mean and what they look like. In a way to do that, another thing that our See It team and with our librarian came up with, and this is really our librarian who really put this together. She has created catalogs from our library of books and summaries of books in these kind of buckets that are about accepting and cooperative and empathy, diversity, all kinds of books on backgrounds and families and cultures, all those things, and supportive books. And the reason why we did this was so teachers and teams could go to this in their planning and embed these in their daily lessons, right? So they have a book, whether it's in social studies or math, and they can kind of pull from here and have it as part of their daily lessons. So we're not really focusing on one quality a month or one quality a year. We kind of have it there, and we have a great catalog now to add to. If teachers find some great books that they can add to it, the librarian will put them right in that catalog. They're easy to get. There's a summary of each book. We're really excited that we have that resource and teachers have that resource for their classroom and for instruction. We also hope that, our hope is, when we look at this whole kind of ACES initiative, we really want this to be part of our whole culture, right? We want it to kind of be woven into the fabric of our school every day, and we want it to be just how we are at Allen Creek School. But we want students and adults to embody these qualities in all areas of school and life. And really, we feel strongly that these qualities are qualities that are going to do two things. Are going to create a culture that prevents bullying, and number two, helps resolve conflict appropriately. And I say those two things is because there's a real fine line between bully and conflict. And I know that could be a whole another topic and presentation, but it's important that they understand the difference. So we hope that these are great foundational core values and qualities that kids take through life. So we're very excited about moving forward and learning more about it and kind of building our culture and making it a great place. So, I'm sorry, this is breaking news. Breaking good news, sorry. This just happened today. I want to go back, this is really exciting. I just noticed it. So going back to what kids have been doing in the classroom. One of our first grade classrooms, part of their classroom library, they have a series of Freddie books. There's like 39 Freddie books that kids really love. And Freddie, one of the characters in the book, loves sharks. Throughout all of these stories, he loves sharks, and you know it because he's always wearing a shark or he's talking about sharks. And the illustrator in all of these books, when every picture that he illustrated, he hid or tried to hide the word fin somewhere in these in the illustration, and the kids would always look for it. And one of the books that they read, the first graders found that it wasn't there. They couldn't find fin in the picture, and so right away the teacher emailed, and they wrote to the illustrator, and he got right back to them and said, "Thank you so much. I've hidden probably fin 1,000 times, and you're right, it's not there. It's not there. I missed it somehow." So he was so thankful, and he just wrote back today, and he sent them a letter stating that he's worked with his publisher, and his publisher is going to put it back in, and any new book that's printed will have that fin in there. And he sent them a book with the fin in there, so I don't know if he wrote it in or what, but anyway, I don't know where he got that one book with the fin in it, but and the rest don't have it. But anyway, they were so excited that they kind of gave some feedback to the illustrator. He did that, so they were really excited. So I need to share that. Very important breaking news. So lastly, let me just talk about a little bit about Allen Creek School and something that I kind of noticed as I was actually putting this presentation together. We talk every day about learning and about lessons and making sure that we are that we're teaching about diversity, we're teaching about backgrounds, and we're teaching about cultures and families and all of these things, which is very important. But then I kind of stood back and I realized that in my own building, diversity is just all around me. And I say that because I realized that so many of Allen Creek students are from all over the world. So I said to myself, what?
You can't laugh at your own jokes.
I know. Well, you have to laugh. Then you, because I have to laugh at my own jokes. So I said to myself, so AC around the world, and I took this map, and you'll see red stars. And what the red stars represent are where all of our kids are from. And many of these kids are coming with no English, speaking no English. And one of the things that has been so great is that they come into our school, they feel so welcomed, our kids welcome them, and if you were there and you looked out, you would not know which kids don't speak English. They work together so well and they take care of each other, and we learn so much from them that it's so great to have so many cultures in our school, and also the languages. So right now we have kids 10 Chinese speakers, 4 who speak Spanish, 4 who speak Portuguese, 2 speakers of Indian languages, a Turkish, Japanese speaker, 2 who speak Urdu, 2 speak French. So there are so many languages in our building, and we celebrate it so much that it just kind of told me that the diversity is right there, right? That is the lesson. That is the lesson, that we're all together, and we're coming together, and we're working together, and we're learning together, and just that tells me that we are accepting, we are empathetic, we are cooperative, and we are supportive. And that's why I think Allen Creek aces it every day. So thank you. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them if I can. If I can't, maybe I'll turn it over to the board to answer the question. But thank you.
Does anyone have any comments or questions?
I just have a quick question on that ACES. Who gets to give the kids the card? Do other kids? Or
Well, right now
teachers?
it's the adults. So right now the adults are because at the same time we're doing a lot more learning about these qualities in the classroom. So right now it's the adults that are giving it to the kids.
I had just a question about the kids that we are representing from around the world. How are they acclimating? I mean, how are they feeling?
Well, they're feeling great. I can honestly say that we haven't had any that have come in and have felt uncomfortable. They feel very comfortable. I could see that as soon as they come in and they actually meet kids, they feel that there's a weight that's off their shoulder, because they just they're not even can't even speak our language, but just by our body language and our nonverbal language, all those things make them feel real great. And the other thing is, many of them come throughout the school year. So it's not that they're all starting in September. They're coming in and out throughout the school year, which is another, can be difficult and a little bit scary for some of them. So, but they've been feeling great. It's a wonderful, and they're also coming in and they're noticing right away that we're very diverse. So they do see a lot of kids and families that are like that.
Are they mainly expatriates that are moving in, or are they people that are going to stay, families that are going to stay? Do you know?
Both. We've had folks who come in and who believe that they're going to be here only for 5 months or 6 months and end up staying for 2 or 3 years. We have folks who come in and think they're going to be here, forever, and in 5 months there's something else is, the other opportunities for them to leave. So it's really both. But we do find that that a lot of them do come in throughout the school year.
Anyone else? Mike, thank you so much for hosting us too. We always enjoy visiting the schools and spending time with the staff and administration. So thank you again for the breakfast. It was wonderful.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you. Thank you for being there. Thanks.